And I was actually surprised because I didn't know. I actually don't know where our disagreement is, but I know you think we have free will.
Yeah.
But where's our disagreement? I can't.
You don't think we have free will?
No, I know, but
It's our disagreement.
no, I know, but did that flip? Didn't you think we used to not have free will?
I understand the argument,
Yeah.
and I think logically it seems to make sense.
Right.
But I think I bought it at some point, and then I realized, well, no, there's two systems going on. There's one that is completely like animal brain, and we're just reacting to things. And there's another one that kind of looks through it like a file folder and decides what things to act on and what things not to act on.
Oh, I don't think that's true though.
I think that's what I think is true.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's where the difference is.
Yeah, and so
because I agree, there's two systems going on.
And you think even the other system is controlled inherently, and it just feels like you have free will.
Yeah. I feel like the free will that, like, it depends how you define it. I feel like the free will people think they have is what's not.
Let me explain this though.
Because I think we agree on that.
I think I think where the disagreement is that yes, logically.
Yes.
So here's the thing. So logically,
right.
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Because it has to be based off some kind of prior actions or internal behavioral things like genetic markers or whatever that's making you do things.
Yeah.
So it has to be a combination of environment, which you can't control.
Yeah.
And genetics, which you can't control.
Yeah.
And in the past.
Right.
Right? And I think that, yes, that makes sense logically.
Right.
But consciousness itself makes zero sense in any degree whatsoever.
But it doesn't. I don't think it matters though. Because one thing I think we can agree on is that your consciousness is still.
So what I'm saying is, we don't understand how it works. So yes, logically, you shouldn't have consciousness, and it should be based off past things, and we can't explain why you're conscious and why you have free will.
Right.
But everything is telling me I do. So regardless of the logic of past and genetics, is saying, well, logically you shouldn't have free will because everything's based off genetics and past environmental changes.
Right. I don't know what your argument is.
So the argument is that logically those things follow, but we just don't understand how that free will works.
Right, but
so we're trying to
agree.
No. So what we're doing? Let me finish.
Sure.
What we're doing is we're saying your mind is completely based off your past, your environmental,
right,
and your genetics.
Right.
That's what assumption is.
And we know that.
We do not know that.
You don't know that.
We don't really understand how consciousness works.
But you can understand that how you don't have to understand that what you do know is that your consciousness is still arising from your brain.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we know that that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Now,
what I'm saying is we don't understand consciousness.
But it doesn't matter.
That yes, logically that follows that we shouldn't have free will, but we just don't understand.
But
really
you don't
what
have
it is.
to understand. You don't have to understand.
Right.
You don't have to understand to know, even if we know that consciousness still arises from the brain. And I know that, like you said, there are things that I could do to your brain that will change your consciousness.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we know it's coming from there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
No. But then it has to follow that if we know it's coming from the brain and we can alter it, right, in different ways, you can't have control of it. You can have zero control of it.
I think logically...
I think you're trying to dance around the fact.
No, because I'm saying you're explaining the brain using logic, but we don't really understand what it is, and what consciousness is, and what free will is. Okay, we think we do, and we think we can use logic to explain how it acts, but we don't know.
But then you're just using a different... So when I say free will, I'm talking about free will that people think they have, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about...
I'm saying that too.
Well,
I'm saying free will people think you have. I'm just saying we don't really understand.
But you don't need to understand it.
How it works.
But you don't need to understand
but we're saying how it works. That it's based off just your environmental things that have happened to you and your genetics. Right. That's it.
Right.
And so based off those things are predetermined because they're in the past.
Right.
So that you actually can't make free will choices.
Right.
But that's maybe not how we make choices entirely. There's something else going on there.
Right, but you're making a claim. You're making a positive. If you're making a,
I'm making a claim. I'm making a claim only because it feels like I do have free will and I have a choice to make a different choice.
Right, but
so I'm saying I don't understand what that feeling. So what my opinion is, I don't understand what that feeling is.
Right.
But to me, internally, it feels like I do have free will.
Right.
And so there must be something I'm missing. And that's a perfectly valid, I don't think it is. Argument. There must be something I'm missing. There must be something that humans are missing.
No, but that
Because
doesn't-
the very fact is we cannot recreate consciousness and free will in
But
anything
it-
else.
but
So
it
that means
doesn't matter.
we generally do not really understand it.
no, we don't have to understand consciousness. Okay, what we know is we know that our brain is a physical property.
We
Right?
think we know everything.
We
About
don't.
how the brain works.
No, we know we don't know everything.
Right.
But what we do know
Right.
is that we could alter the brain,
Right.
right?
Right.
There could be a point where we could, in the future, we're probably going to start doing a lot of different shit to our genetics and stuff that's going to alter us.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
Okay. It just logically follows that you actually don't have control of any of that. Even if we
I
don't
agree
know
that a
how
lot-
consciousness arises from the brain, it still comes from the brain.
It's
just a processor.
I agree. So, but I'm saying
just a processor.
All I'm saying is
I know what you're saying.
logically, but there seems to be something we're missing because it feels entirely like I do have free will to choose something differently.
Right, but the reason
So
that
there
we
must
look
be-
at things
there must be
logically
something-
is because we're flawed. We might not actually know, so we have to use logic.
Yes.
Right,
But we have
now
no,
you're saying
no.
we don't need to use that.
No, we have to use logic
Right.
and experience. My experience, like that's what science is.
No,
It's
you can't
using-
just use your experience.
You can't just use experience.
No,
I'm
you
using
can't.
logic,
But
and
you're
I'm
not.
using my personal experience,
Right.
saying there must be something we're missing
No.
in that logical equation for how we get
Yeah, but
choices.
you're not using both. Your experience is your
My experience is superseding the logic.
100% though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're literally throwing logic out the door.
Not out the door.
Yeah, you are. You have to.
I'm acknowledging that. Yes, it seems like that's
That
how
seems
my.
like if just logically,
I'm
you
saying,
would say
I'm
logically
saying in
you don't have free
in a
will.
vacuum. In a vacuum, it
Right.
seems like there's
you're
no free
throwing
will
that out the door because your experience says you
because
have
that I'm wrong. Yeah.
Not that you're wrong, but you
That
just
the
don't
logic is
understand
wrong, and that
Right.
I'm using flawed logic. That's what my experience is telling me, that my logic is flawed. There's something I'm
it.
missing.
I don't. But see, again, I don't agree with that.
No, okay.
You can definitely. Do you agree that you could take a pill and alter your consciousness?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So you know that it can be altered.
No, because I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it's not or has nothing to do with environment or genetics.
Right.
I'm saying there's just something else missing that explains our ability to choose.
But what?
Who knows? I don't understand consciousness or free will. It's very weird. It's a very big mystery.
No,
Life itself is a very big mystery.
Super interesting, but I still do, what I don't follow is the fact that in every other aspect
Existence
of your
and
life,
consciousness-
in every other aspect
Yeah.
of your life, it doesn't matter what your experience is. You're going to look at logic because your experience could be flawed or your experience could be very subjective,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we use logic to make at least educated guesses on things, right?
That we don't.
And for this
Yeah.
one thing, you're saying, well, it seems like I do, so we're probably wrong about it because you're
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
arguing that we do have free will,
Yeah.
right?
Because it just seems like I do.
But why does it seem like you do?
I don't know.
But does it seem like you do?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of you making a decision?
Because it seems like when I make choices that I have an option
But
to
what's
choose
that
differently.
experience like?
It's hard to explain experiences. Yeah.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like if I tried to close my eyes and decide a color,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying your experience is like you're going through a file and picking one, and
Yeah.
I'd say no, it's not.
Which yeah.
I don't think that's the experience at all. I
Let me-
think what's happening is colors are arising from somewhere.
Right, and then you're deciding which one you pick.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you are.
I
You
don't
don't
think
have to
you
pick
are.
the first one. You can decide which one you want to
Yeah,
pick.
but you don't know why you picked that one.
Right, but it seems like I am having a choice which
No, it
one I
doesn't.
want to pick. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Because
It
if you
does.
ask yourself why did I pick that one, you wouldn't be able to tell yourself. Your experience is that you don't know why.
I don't know why, but it does seem to be I had a choice and I chose one
But how can you say you had a choice if you don't know why you chose it?
because I had to. Because this is a game we're playing.
No, you're talking about your experience, but your experience would tell you don't have free will. I would argue.
No,
if you try to pay attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm saying is what people think they're making choices, but when they try to pay attention, they actually can't account for any of the choices they're making.
Mm-hmm.
So their experience, when they try to pay attention to it, do some mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
they're not actually making the choice. They actually don't know where it's coming from.
Mm.
Which, regardless if you don't understand, the fact that you don't know where it's coming from can show you that you're not making the choice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Is what I would argue. Regardless if I know what the process is.
Right.
I don't know what the process is.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see. I don't even think your experience tells you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we'll wrap it up there for our
Free will.
episode 10. That was a good one, though.
That was a good one, actually. That was a good episode
Was it
10.
a good one?
Double digits. Double digits.
Double digits, 10 out.
Yeah.